If you don't love it, my friend, let it go. Let it go. I don't know more about the song. Let it go. Let it go. You know what? Let's just start this podcast and let's just forget about the whole song stuff, all right? Let's go, shall we? Welcome, my friend, to the episode 509 of this, your favorite show, every Monday through Friday at approximately 4 a.m. MST, the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, Season 2, a podcast in which we discuss subjects as, personal development, sexual advancement, entrepreneurship, leadership. What else? Spirituality, metaphysics, mindset, psychology, and all the subjects that really can make an impact in your life. So, if you are into this kind of lifestyle and you are looking for a show that is daily and highly original, as you will see today, well, maybe this is a good option for you. Subscribe for more. All right. Also, before we continue with the episode of today, let me remind you that we have the Telegram exclusive and private group. The link is in the description. So if you want to join a community that will continue growing up and expanding collectively, well, maybe this is a community for you. It's entitled free, and the link is in the description. Join our Telegram group. Now, I have been noticing something lately that I want to speak to you about, and that is that a lot of the episodes that I have been shooting for the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 lately, they have been very complex in their nature and in their mechanics. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for why I have been shooting complex videos, for example, luminosity, what is the true nature of light? That is one that was a little bit complex, but I recommend you to listen or to search for that in my YouTube channel. Another one that was kind of complex was you are a light prism. Okay. And that is like a second part for that one of luminosity. Another one that was kind of complex was you are a perpetual motion machine. And also another one was what is the true nature of war, or how don't to be a spiritual a welfare bug. So those episodes, if you listen to those, you will notice that they demand a high degree of understanding from your part, a high degree of effort, concentration, further research, implementation, and they are high caliber kind of podcast. But then I was thinking, uh, why I'm doing those? Like, why I am speaking so many episodes, why I'm shooting so many episodes that are so advanced, while this podcast, it is supposed to be low to middle kind of difficulty, this podcast, it is not supposed to be like expert kind of difficulty. It is supposed to be easygoing, not that easygoing as if you was in first grade, right? But easygoing enough for most people to understand. And I realized, well, I am doing this complex podcast because we never know when will be our last day in Earth. And I have been thinking about that lately. Like, if I die tomorrow, maybe a nuclear war, you know, start, or maybe another pandemic, or maybe I don't know. Maybe I crash in an accident. What I want to be my last episode. That is the question that I was doing to myself. What I wanted to be my last art in the world. So by asking that question, I then start choosing the episodes that I thought it was very important to share with you because they were so imperative and they are so essential for your growth that was my inspiration for why I was doing those kind of episodes. And I will continue doing those, but this is my promise for you. I will be combining highly complex subjects in this podcast with easier to digest episodes, more easy episode like this one of today. So my new goal in this podcast is to be able to balance better complexity with simplicity to bring you the best and also to give you something to think very profound on when I am talking about very complex stuff, but also to give you a little bit of relax kind of entertainment or kind of a good show to watch. I don't want you in stress every time. I don't want you to be hyper paranoid every time that you hit play button in one of these podcasts. So today, this episode will not be the most complex episode in the world, but don't get me wrong. These do not mean that this idea is not important, or these do not mean that this idea will be very easily applied in your life. No, 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 no. My friend, this idea that you will learn today, if you don't love it, let it go. This idea demands a lot of spiritual sophistication from your part, a lot of effort, a lot of discipline, a lot of changes in your lifestyle if you want it to work, but it is not the most difficult thing to understand. All right. So now that I got that out of my system, let's go with the subject of today. Are you ready, baby? I hope that you're ready because I'm so ready, baby. And let's go with it. So, here's the story behind this philosophy that we can call or we can phrase: if you don't love it, let it go. And the story is that one time I was with my wife, and I think that she was pregnant by the time. And we were talking about how we can grow together, how we can be better, because at the end of the day, that is what relationships do, right? We discussed how we can grow as a collective system, as individual also, but also as a collective. And we noticed that one area that we can improve is the cleaning aspect of our house and the organization aspect of our house, right? So we were living at that time, we were living in a very beautiful house. We were waiting for our baby in a place that is called Yauco in Puerto Rico. It's a very rural, small town place in Puerto Rico, very peaceful, very good for raising a baby, right? And we were in that house and we were thinking, okay, so we need to become more organized. Not because we want the appearance of being organized, just because we want to be able to feel in our house freely, with peace, not with disaster, not with chaos. And it is proof, scientifically, that if your room is messy, you will feel like that psychologically, like your room is an externalization of your psyche. So if your house, your room, your car is all messed up, how do you think you will feel inside? You will feel very, very mess up. So we decided to establish good habits, better habits, to maintain our house in the most orderly fashion as possible, although we are not perfect, right? But that was our decision and our resolve. So we decided to start searching for philosophies or techniques, or just processes, in order to achieve our new goal of order and organization and cleanliness, right? So we found this woman. She's very famous, and you may even know her, right? She is called Marie Kondo. She's a Japanese writer, philosopher, and she's like an influencer also, and she has what she called the Konmari method, the Konmari method. So let me just well, I will search it in Google right now, and I will share the screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will benefit better. I always tell you guys, I love you guys hitting me on Spotify or SoundCloud or Apple Podcasts, but in YouTube is where you can see the visuals. Also in Spotify, you can see the video. But you, at the end of the day, you decide what is best for you. Anyways, so this woman, she has this philosophy that is awesome, and I strongly recommend you to go and study her philosophy. She has a documentary in Netflix, if I am not mistaken. You can search her interviews or her ideas in YouTube. You can Google her, and you can reach or read a couple of her blogs or blogs made about her. So it will not be difficult for you to study her psyche and to study her philosophy, but you need to be, willing to do it. And the KonMari method, let me share real quick with you this. The KonMari method basically is a method of having your house in order or your place in order. So let's see. This is her, I think. No, I don't know if this. No, this is not definitely her. Let me see if I can find a better. So yeah, this is her, definitely her, and I am looking for a specific photo like this. These are the type of things that she will teach you how to do: how to fold clothes, how to make everything in your house look like this. And obviously this is an utopia, and she's like a very crazy expert. In my house it doesn't seem like this, but it seems much better that it was, right? So she will teach you how to organize your space in the more efficient way as possible, and in a manner that you will feel very zen and very simple in your space. You will not have a lot of clutter, a lot of objects, a lot of stuff. Anyways, you should search that if you are more into the cleaning aspect of this philosophy. But let me tell you something, my friend. What I notice is that this philosophy is not only for cleaning your house or organizing your space. This philosophy is for organizing your life. This philosophy is to make your life in a very orderly fashion, in a way that you really feel at peace with everything that you are going through. And this is what we're going to discuss today. So, one of the principles of her philosophy, and is the thing that I always remember when I am cleaning or when I am about to throw an object to the trash, or I am deciding I'm gonna keep with this thing, I'm gonna keep this thing versus I'm gonna throw it away or I'm gonna send it to someone else, is this following question. She wants you to ask this question every time that you are looking to an object in your house or in your room. And it's the following question: do I love this or not? That's it. It's very simple. It's very simple. Remember, we are talking about Zen stuff here. And when we are talking about the philosophy of Zen, we are talking about simplicity. That's why your iPhone is so simple, because Steve Jobs was very influenced by the Zen philosophy, right? So you ask yourself, for example, if you are cleaning your room and you see a shirt that is very randomly in the top of your bed, you look at that shirt and you say, do I love this shirt or not? You ask yourself that question. And you need to let your intuition and your essence and your authenticity to respond to that question, not your ego. Because what do you think your ego will say? Your ego will say, yes, my dear. Oh, yes, my dear. Of course, I love this shirt. This is my favorite shirt. I love it. But remember, your ego is telling you that because it is in the best interest for your ego to keep that shirt, because every object gives your ego identity. Your house gives your ego identity, your country, your politics, your nation, your government, the books that you read, your cell phone, your wallpaper, this podcast gave you identity. Everything that surrounds you gives you identity. So your ego, it doesn't like to throw that things, those things away, because your ego wants to preserve itself primordially. How do you say that? It's a very difficult word to say. Well, primarily is another word that I can say. The priority of your ego is self existence, self sufficiency, to assist by any means as possible. And we are going to discuss more about this in the future, right? But your ego will say, I love this shirt, but you need to listen to your essence. You need to listen to spirit. You need to listen to love. And maybe your love, your authentic self will say, you know what? No, I don't love this shirt anymore. And when you realize that you don't love that object anymore, then, according to this very good philosophy, the Konmari Method, well, you will say, because I do not love this shirt anymore, now I can let it go. And then you can give that shirt away, or you can throw it away, anything that you want. But you will release that energy from your life. That is the method, right? Very simple. You only ask yourself, do I love this? Yes or no? You let your essence to respond, and then you decide if you hold the thing or if you release the thing from your life. And here's the thing: things are energy. Objects are energy. So every time that you are preserving a shirt, a pant, I don't know, a photo in your cell phone, a video, an audio, whatever, a document in your laptop, every time that you are holding an object, you are holding its energy. You are not just only holding a material object, a physical thing. Remember, matter is energy, wave is particle. There's no division. Everything in life, as Nikola Tesla used to say, is energy, frequency, and vibration. So by you holding stuff in your life, you are holding energy. You are basically holding the past in your present. Do you understand this, my friend? This is critical for you to understand. Everything that you hold in your life, you are holding energy. And that will determine how you will vibrate further on, how sophisticated will be your consciousness, how powerful will be your frequency, your capacity of creation, of manifestation, of loving. So that's why it's so imperative to clean your life, to release the extra objects that they are not working for you anymore, but maybe you are holding to them for a lot of time now, and it is time to let it go. Let it go. So, getting rid of these objects in your house, things that are not worth it anymore, is basically how you receive the future in your spirit or in your consciousness. Because now you are making space for your future to come in. How your future will come in, how your future will enter your life if you are not making space for it actively. That is a good question for you to explore further. So, you that you are doing the challenge, I suppose, you have a direct challenge for this one. You need to clean your house. You need to organize your house. Asking yourself this question with every object that you see in your house or in your apartment or whatever is your home. I love this. Do I love this? Yes or no? Do I love this television? Well, no. Get get rid of it. Do I love this old cell phone that I have in this box? Well, no. Get rid of it. Get rid of everything that you don't love, and you will see how the energy will change in your life. Everything will modify because you are modifying the energetic structures of your life. So this is the story about how I got to know this philosophy and how this philosophy works for organizing and cleaning your house. But remember, I told you this is only this is only like the superficial aspect of this technology. This thing, dude, you can implement this thing in your whole life. And now that I'm getting old, I'm getting more experienced, I'm getting more sensible to my own feelings and to my own mechanisms. I am starting to implement this philosophy in every area of my life. And I will give you some examples of how you may do this in order to free space for your future and in order to carry less weight in your shoulders. And remember, I will suggest and recommend an episode that I record a couple of weeks ago, and it was called Live from the Future. Please search that video on YouTube. It is called Derek Israel Live from the Future. And in that episode, I will give you all the mechanics and all the techniques and all the secrets for manifesting your ideal future right now. And it's a very sophisticated idea that encompasses spirituality, quantum mechanics, epigenetics, time, space, psyche, law of attraction, materialization. It's a very in depth episode. So go and check that out. But today, let's continue expanding in our future because this idea will be very complementary with the other one that I just mentioned about live from the future. So let me tell you some dimensions in which this philosophy of if you don't love it, let it go works also in other areas of your life beside organization and cleaning. So you can apply this uh, philosophy, for example, in your relationships. If you don't love that relationship, let it go. How many times have you maintained a toxic relationship just because at the end of the day, you are so used to that person? At the end of the day, they were your friends. So why you will get away from them? They have been with you so many years. But this is the thing, bro. This is the thing, sister. You are growing, you are expanding, and they are as well. We human beings, we are changing all the time. We are dynamic, we are evolutionary. So that means that sometimes the relationships that used to work before, they will not work today. And a huge component of personal development is to relate better with people. So, what I have noticed is that since I start my personal development journey, like maybe like 7 years ago or 8 years ago, um, I used to have a lot of people in my life. Maybe 8 years ago, I had a lot of friends, I had a lot of colleagues, uh, I have a lot of different partners, sexual partners, romantic partners. Um, and I have communication with a lot of people, like in parties and in places that I used to go just for having fun, right? So I used to socialize a lot. But while I have been growing a lot and expanding my consciousness and evolving spiritually, what I have been noticing is that I have been discarding a lot of people in my life systematically, doing this technique. If I don't love them, I let them go. Now, that doesn't mean that I become violent with them or that I will try to do something bad for them or maybe that I hate them or I think that they are inferior or that they do not deserve my friendship. No, no, no. I don't think anything about that. It is not that. It's just I just let go what I don't love anymore. That's it. What I don't want in my life anymore. And sometimes these are people. And now, after 8 years of very intense personal development in my life, I have so few people right now that can basically have interactions with me daily, like, intimate interactions. Obviously, I'm very open with my fans. I'm very open with the people that write to me in the comment sections, in my DMs, in my message, or in the conferences, or with my clients, or with my patients. I'm very open with them, but I don't count that as the people, that are very intimate with me. They are fans or they are clients. What I'm talking about is people that are really in my life, people that are like omnipresent in my life. Right now, I can count them maybe with two hands. Less than 10 people. Less than 10 people is very present in my life right now. And I am very happy with this number because I can have quality of relationships instead of quantity of relationships. And I know that the people that surrounds me, they love me really, because when you are surrounded by a lot of people, some of them love you, but some of them don't. Some of them, they are faking, they are hypocrites, or they are playing power games. And I mean, that is just part of life, but I don't want them in my life every time. Like, why? I don't love them. So I don't want them in my life. So I got rid of them. Like, as soon as I understood this, bye bye. Arrivederci. Bye bye. So I called you to do the same. Assess, evaluate, introspect, meditate on your relationships one by one. Every friend, every ex girlfriend, every ex husband, every colleague, every co worker, every companion in your university or in your mayor. I don't care. Assess every relationship that you have right now and ask yourself, do I love this person? Yes or no? Yes. Do I love the fact that this person is in my life right now? Yes or no? No. All right. Merry Christmas. Now you have a decision to make. Proceed to eliminate that person of your life. Because remember, that person is energy, bro. And you want to have the most qualitative energy as possible. So, the next dimension in which I use this philosophy of if I don't love it, I let go is, for example, if you don't love that job, let it go. Let it go. We are living in a century, ladies and gentlemen, and intersex individuals. We are living in a century in which we do not need to conform with whatever is in the market, in the job market, or in the corporative market. Now, if you are living in North Korea right now, if you are living in North Korea, and chances are 99% chances that you are not, because then you will not be seeing this. Well, if you're living in North Korea, you may have no chance to say no to your job, right? If the North Korean leader tell you that you are going to be a painter for him and do art, that is what you will do for the rest of your life if you don't want to be executed. But if you are in another country, maybe United States, maybe um I don't know, Colombia, maybe Spain, well, you have the freedom, at least to choose where you want to work, where you will spend a third of your life, because we work at least 8 hours daily. 8 hours is a third of your day. So we work basically a third of our life. So if we are working a third of our life in a place that we hate, how miserable you will be your whole journey. You don't deserve that. The world do not deserve that. And I know that you need to pay your bills. I know that you need to pay your lifestyle. You need to fund your lifestyle. But if you don't love your job, make something about it. You don't need to quit tomorrow, but at least you can start looking for another place. You don't need to conform. Every excuse that you say about why you cannot leave that mediocre job is just that, an excuse. It is just that, an excuse. You are afraid probably of having the good life. You are probably afraid of actually loving your job. So if you think that you don't deserve to love your job, guess what? You will stay in a hateful job, because at the end of the day, that is what match your self identity, your self image, what you think you deserve. So maybe you are saying something like, oh, Derek, but it's not that easy because I live in Puerto Rico, Derek, as you used to live. And it's very easy for you now to say that because you are in the United States that is full of job opportunities, right? And you can switch from this one to the other one to the other one infinitely, basically. But that is not our reality, Derek. Here in Puerto Rico, here we don't have so many opportunities. Jobs are so scarce, jobs are so few that we cannot change them so easily, Derek. So I cannot do that. It doesn't matter if I love it or if I do not love it. I cannot change it that easy, boy. So please stop saying that. All right, that is a good point. That is a good point. But let me tell you something. Maybe you don't have a lot of job opportunities in your country. Maybe that is a fact. But that do not mean that you cannot systematically acquire human capital slash become better as a human being, as a productive machine, as an economic entity or economic being. And that doesn't mean that by doing that, you can also create your own job or create your own product or start your own thing. That is always on the table. Now, I know that not everyone is suited for entrepreneurship. I know that. This is not for everyone, but you can do it. Maybe you can try. How you will know? How you will know if you are, fit to be an entrepreneur, a leader of an industry, a leader of an enterprise? If you never try, if you always, if you maintain yourself stuck with victim mentality in a job that you hate. So, human capital is everything that will make you more effective. For example, if you learn a new language, that is part of a human capital. Maybe a language, maybe a coding language for computers or software, or maybe the musical language, or maybe Chinese, right? Or maybe Spanish, learning new things, learning new techniques, learning new skills. That is human capital. Maybe you can start learning about selling, marketing, how to promote a thing, how to do social media marketing, how to promote products using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? You can start learning stuff in your free time until you are ready to create something by your own, or until you are ready to build a better resume in order to look for a better place. So if you don't love your job, let it go. Please, please. And believe me, jobs never will be perfect. But you know when you don't absolutely love that place. You know. For example, I know that this podcast it is not perfect. Sometimes I am like lame to came here. I'm like, oh my gosh, it is 3:30 in the morning when I wake up at 3 a.m. So I don't know, maybe taking a bath or meditating before coming here. And sometimes I hear this voice, oh my gosh, Derek, you're gonna be talking there for a whole hour. Right, yeah. And what? I love it. It is perfect? No. Sometimes it is bored? Yeah. Sometimes it is repetitive? Yeah. Sometimes I would like to keep sleeping? Yeah. Sometimes I would like to, I don't know, do another thing? Absolutely, yeah. But the question at the end of the day, do I love this? Yes or no? Well, the answer is I love the hell out of it. So that's why I have 509 episodes and counting because I love it. Next dimension that you can apply this philosophy of if you don't love it, let it go, is that if you don't love that specific systems or system of belief or beliefs, let it go. If you are believing something about yourself that is not good for you anymore, let it go. Work it, meditate on it, ask for therapy, ask for a coach, but do anything that is necessary in order to eradicate belief systems or limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. This is the whole journey of personal development, folks. Removing barriers of our own growth or for our own growth. Growth, personal development slash growth, this is natural. This comes easy. You know what is hard? To remove stuff that is blocking this natural growth. If you remove every resistance, as you learned in the episode, you are the perpetual motion machine. And soon I will be doing the part two of that episode because I have been developing better and more ideas about that subject. So definitely go and watch that one. You are the perpetual motion machine. And you learn there that one of the ways that at least hypothetically we can build this type of infinite energy device is by removing all sources of friction, all sources of resistance. So if you remove all the resistance, all the limiting beliefs, all the blockages that you have in your character for your growth, you will grow naturally. You don't need to add too much things to grow. You need to subtract things to grow. You need to eliminate certain things to grow. So, for example, you may have the belief that you are not pretty enough to be with the boy of your life. So maybe you're a man or a woman that loves men, and you are thinking that. Well, how the hell that thought serves you? If every time that you are going to approach a man or a boy that you really like, you feel, you hear that thought in your mind, oh, you are not pretty enough. You know that, right? How do you think you will conduct the operation in the sexual market? You will conduct a very poor relationship or operation or communication, because you will be flowing, or you will be vibrating from that limiting belief that you are not pretty enough. So you may ask yourself in this scenario, do I love this belief? Do I really love the fact that I think that I am not pretty enough? And you will say, maybe, well, obviously I don't love it. So if you don't love it, what you need to do? Eliminate it from your life. But now this is the interesting part, how you do it. How you eliminate limiting beliefs from your life. Well, this is a whole new subject, and we have been discussing this from science, episode 1. So, most on Spanish, now a lot of them in English, but the same idea. You can systematically eliminate limiting beliefs by doing different techniques. There's no one method that will resolve all, but you can use, for example, meditation, you can use visualization, you can use affirmations, you can go to therapy and work with that with a psychologist, or you can work with a coach, or you just can, get very fit, very strong, and start changing your limiting belief by changing your whole body, by changing your external character. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work. So it will depend. Everyone will do this differently. We all have different challenges, different resources, but the most important thing is always to be assessing what limiting beliefs I have in my mindset that I need to attack and conquer without any sense of mercy or compassion for it. And you go and do it. If you don't love your mindset, let it go. Let it go. Another dimension in which you can work with this philosophy is that if you don't love your sexual lifestyle, let it go. And this is a huge one. This is maybe one that you haven't thought about. But we have a sexual lifestyle. And I'm going to be doing an episode for that, discussing that subject in the near future here in the Mastermind podcast. So stay tuned, because this is only getting better and better. And what I mean by lifestyle or sexual lifestyle is the way that you choose to behave sexually, your attitudes towards sex, your habits towards sex, your techniques towards sex, your routines towards sex. And we all have this kind of sexual lifestyle that will give us one. Option A will give us a lot of happiness in our life, or option B, it will destroy our life. It was very funny, but when psychology started becoming very official, Sigmund Freud was one of the pioneers in this movement. You may have heard about him. I mentioned him, a lot. And one of the things that Sigmund Freud noticed is that a lot of psychopathologies are sexual based. How you decide to manage your sexual urges, impulses, what we can call libido, will determine a lot of your anxiety, a lot of your depression, a lot of your inactivity or overactivity, a lot of your drama, what we can call hysteria, a lot of the manifestation of psychopathologies or neurosis, like for example, the splitting of the mind in a schizophrenia, or the obsessive compulsion in that disorder, or the narcissistic personality, or the psychopathy type of framework. So sexuality or sex behavior or sexual lifestyle, it is entangled with the functionality and working of your mind. So if you don't love something about that area, you are compromising everything else in your life. This is critical. This is critical. A lot of personal development students, they like to attack everything except this dimension, sexuality. They're like, I'm good there, blah, blah. That's it. They don't think about it. They like to meditate. They like to, read books. They like to maybe the entrepreneurial part, to create a product, to create a business. They like that. They like the money. They like the marketing. They like maybe get out of their comfort zone. But when it's about sex and sophisticating sexual processes, oh man, that seems tough. It is tough because sex is your essence. If you modify your sex, you modify your essence. What are you made of? You are made of sex. Sexual energy slash love, because sexual energy and love are an spectrum. And maybe I will do an episode of that in the future. The sexual energy slash love spectrum, or dash love spectrum. Where is my cell phone? Let me write that, because I have been noticing that sometimes I tell you in the podcast, I will do this in the future, blah, 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 blah. And then I forget. I forget what I told you. And I am very lazy to come back to the episode, to listen to the whole episode, to see what I said. So let me just write it in my list right now. Oh, I already have it. No. Love, sex, spectrum. And in this way, now I know that I must do it in the near future. So ask yourself, do I love my sexual lifestyle right now? I am satisfied with it. Yes or no? Yes or no? If the answer is no, well, let it go. Let it go, that lifestyle. So maybe, for example, for you, maybe that you are with a lot of sexual partners right now and you don't love that. Well, let that go. For the first time in your life, center yourself in your sexuality without anyone else, and just get to know who you are as a sexual being. Or maybe it's the whole contrary. Maybe you are too conservative, too lonely, and you are not socializing enough, and you are not having sex enough, and you are not loving that. Well, let that go then. Become proficient in the game. We call the games, we call the game to the skill of getting people attracted to you. And I will be talking more about that in the future also, about, social dynamics, pickup dynamics, and game, how to develop game. So stay tuned. This podcast will be for a long time. I assure you that because I love it. If one day I stop loving this, I will drop the podcast and I will say, "Hey, folks, goodbye, bah." And I'm gone. I am like that. I am like that. I take decisions, like I told you in the miniseries, Think and Grow Rich. Please go and watch that whole miniseries. Is completely free in my YouTube channel, Think and Grow Rich miniseries. One of the lessons there is decision, the art of making definitive decisions. Once I take a decision, I go all in. Michael Jordan, he used to say, once I decide something, I never go back to argue with it. It's a paraphrase. I'm paraphrasing here. He didn't say exactly those words, but he says something like that. Once you decide something, boom, that's it. Don't argue about it anymore. So, the last area that I want to talk about in this philosophy of if you don't love it, let it go, is that, hey, if you don't love your project, if you don't love your product, or you don't love a work of art that you are doing right now, well, maybe it is time to let it go. And this is a tricky one, folks. This is a very tricky one because sometimes, for example, you are doing a work of art and you will hate a part of that work of art. And that doesn't mean that you should drop it. That only means that you should continue on and finish what you start and heal through the process, because the art of making art, the creative process, it is not pink. It is not all wonderful. You will have to digest your shadow. You will have to digest some of your demons when you are conducting your art. And that is going to be a difficult experience to metabolize, right? So in that sense, definitely you should not let go that art. But let's say that you have been working in this certain art project for a long time now, and you don't even love anymore that art project. It's like, oh man, it's like it is not for you anymore. Well, maybe it is time for you to let go. Just let go. This philosophy is for you to be a free man and a free woman. And we are living in a society in which becoming a slave is not something that will happen probably by another human being's will. Another human being will not come to you and say, "You are my slave, and you will do whatever I want," and blah, 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 blah. No, we are not living in that time anymore. But you can still be a slave. And I call this a self slave, a slave by yourself, by your own victim mentality, and by your own lack of proactivity to change your life, to really do what you have to do to become better. This whole philosophy, my friend, is for you to become better, is for you to have a new tool to assess everything in your life, from the objects that you have in your home, from the folders and photos and videos that you have in your cell phone, from the relationships that you have in your life, the sexual decisions that you take, the art that you undertake, the business, your job, your religion, your spirituality, your habits, your routines. If you don't have, if you don't love this certain habit, let it go. If you don't love that addiction, let it go. If you don't love cigarette anymore, let it go. If you don't love reading bad news every day, let it go. This is about a cleaning of spirit. So I hope that this philosophy gives you a new opportunity in your life to transform your whole being and your whole apparatus. Remember, I always recommend you to do your research. So go and research Marie Kondo. Go watch her YouTube videos, read her books, buy her books. It's gonna be worth it. I am not reading her every day. I read her maybe once per year just to remind myself what is this philosophy and to continue deepening that philosophy in my life. But this is not something that you should be studying every day. This is something for you to know and then to apply systematically for the rest of your life. So that's why I told you this is going to be a more simple idea, a more easygoing idea for you, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you did, please share it with someone. You know how much good we can do in the world if we share these ideas for people and make them conscious about it. Also, make a comment. I want you to leave a comment down low below, below about what thing, and this is the question that I want you to answer in the comment. What thing you don't love anymore in your life that you are committing with us, with the entire community that will read your comment forever if the internet do not blow away. What thing in your life you will let go because you don't love it anymore? That's it. Just respond that. And by responding, you are making your brain aware that now you are going to be working on that. You are setting a new direction from your life. And I want you to notice when you leave that comment, you will feel a little bit of change in the energy. And that is the whole point of this philosophy, changing energy, modifying the flow of energy in your reality in order to flow more connected with your future and with your authentic values instead of being stuck in your past by holding items or persons or ideas that give you a false identity sense in your psychology that is dragging you backwards, but you think it is essential for your life. So leave that comment below. Also, remember that you can donate to this podcast by Patreon. And Patreon is basically a platform that gives you access, special access to benefits like exclusive content and stuff like that. And in return, you just donate to this free podcast if you find that you are receiving a lot of value of it. You can start donating only $5 per month, cheaper than a coffee. Like a coffee in the United States is like $7. Like cheaper than a coffee, you can donate to this podcast that is basically bringing to the world ideas that are transforming a lot of lives and making this world better. So if you want to help me and my team to make this podcast more self-sustainable, well, go to Patreon. The link is below and donate today. And finally, I just want to tell you that this is just about self-love. You know, the fact that we organize our life, the fact that we organize our house, our work, our life. This is just a reflection of self love. We are not doing this because we want to appear something. We don't want to project an image. This is not a public engineering kind of strategy. This is a deep strategy for self love, to love yourself. Because by getting rid of things that are holding you back, you're basically making space for self love. So let me be a companion in your journey of self love. I have a course that is called the Self Love Masterclass, in which I teach you step by step how to love yourself forever. And believe me, if you achieve this, and the probability that you achieve this through my course are very likely, you will be happy as hell in your life, even when conditions are not ideal. Because self love is not about having the perfect condition in your life. Self love is about loving yourself, although you have crazy conditions sometimes. So, if you go to the link that is below that says Derek Israel courses, you will be able to access the self love masterclass. And if you decide to enroll, you will receive everything to your email, in just 1 minute. It's going to be an immediate access, and you will have ebook, you will have all the videos, you will have guided meditations, and you will have a lot of resources to really start loving yourself deeply with my help and with my guidance. So right now that course is in Spanish, but I already translated in English, and I will be launching a pre-sale very soon with a good price, limited kind of time limited price for a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. But if you are ready to take it on Spanish, maybe you are bilingual, just go to derekisrael.com. The link is below, and start loving yourself right now. I see you in your self love.